Oh my god.
Oh, that's great. Amazing. A lot of energy.
Yeah, it's like the
Oh, yeah.
like
Amazing.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. But crazy developing and take school and you know all that.
So it's like
Great.
oh,
Yeah, that okay.
Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and as amended as of March 28, 2025, this meeting will be conducted in person and, as a courtesy, via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public and board members, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless required by law. This meeting will be recorded by the local scene. Members of the public who wish to watch this meeting may do so by viewing the Duxbury Government Access channels, Verizon 39 or Comcast 9. Viewers can visit the localscene.media.duxbury for information about Duxbury programming, including streaming and watching replays on Duxbury YouTube. Right, first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next item on the agenda is open forum. Do I have anything for open forum for my fellow select board members?
Nothing substantive, but just to wish everybody a happy Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Mike, do you have anything? No. All right. I've got a couple of items for open forum, and the first one is recognition. There's going to be an EMS week, starts May 17th, and I'd just like to take this opportunity on behalf of my fellow select board members, select board, to acknowledge and recognize the outstanding service provided by our EMTs and paramedics. I'd like to take the opportunity to read into the record a note of recognition from their Chief Reardon. Every day, these professionals respond to emergencies with skill, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the residents and visitors of Duxbury. They are often the first point of contact during someone's most critical and vulnerable moments, whether providing life-saving care, offering reassurance in times of uncertainty, or supporting families through difficult situations. Their impact extends far beyond the call itself. Over the past year, our EMS personnel have continued to meet increasing call volumes and complex medical emergencies with professionalism. Their ability to perform under pressure, make critical decisions, and deliver high-quality pre-hospital care reflects not only their training, but their deep sense of duty to this community. EMS Week is an opportunity to pause and recognize the dedication, sacrifice, and expertise required in this role. It is also a reminder that behind every response is a team of individuals who train relentlessly, support one another, and take great pride in serving others. So I can say, this is Chief Reardon, I say with confidence that we have the very best team, and I am proud to work alongside them every day. So thank you for that. Second item for open forum is the thank you to Amy for pushing this along. You know, we've been working on, our goal is to improve our community engagement, right? And one of the things we've done, or Amy's pushed, is we actually have our own email addresses now. So it's basically the first name dot last name at duxbury-ma.gov. So for me, it's fernando.guitart at duxbury-ma.gov. You can still send emails to the select board at duxbury-ma.gov, but now we will all get immediately a copy of that email. So I did receive one in support of doing something with the bridge, so thank you very much for that. But anyway, so one step in the right direction for enhancing our ability to engage with the community. So with that, is anybody in the audience or online have anything for open forum? All right, hearing none, and it's 6:35. There's a public hearing, Class 2 auto dealer's license, Blue Water Bayside, formerly Bayside Marine. Still good explanation why it's an auto license, but anyway. Can you read the motion, yes.
I move that the Select Board open the public hearing regarding the proposed application for Class 2 used auto dealer's license from Blue Water Bayside Lessee LLC DBA Bayside Marine, located at 433, 441, and 447 Washington Street.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Oh,
Sorry, Michael, I.
Fernando, aye.
Cindy, aye.
Brian, aye.
All right. Let's hear from the applicant.
Good evening, Jackson S. Kent Jr., Blue Water Bayside Marine, 441 Washington Street, also 1351 Tremont Street, Duxbury. The purpose of the license is so that we can sell boat trailers, and in order for us to sell a boat trailer, we need a license so that we can sign the document to title and register the vehicle. And we've had this license for, I don't know, 40 years, whatever it is, on the Bayside Marine. So this is just because of the transfer of property, we need to relicense it.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I do.
Brian?
So in looking at the materials, I understand that there's going to be no change at all in terms of what you're selling, how you're selling it, where you're storing. It's going to be business as usual, and the purpose is simply change of ownership.
As far as I know.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd be a little bit more confident in your reply.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the plan as we understand it.
Okay. Still couching it, but that's okay. All right. Any?
Yeah, I have
Yes.
a question, a couple of questions, because I'm just for my clarity. So one of the questions in the,
Can you speak up?
yeah, one of the questions in the application was, are you engaged in the business of, am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Really?
Oh,
No,
sorry,
I
no.
wasn't, but that's all right. Engaged in the business of buying, selling, or exchanging motor vehicles. And in this case, we know that it has to do with boats and trailers. And it was yes. And it says, if so, is your principal business the sale of new motor vehicles? Is that not true?
I don't know why we have a used car dealer license, why we don't have a new one, frankly. I'm thinking it might go back many boards and somebody didn't want a new car dealership, so they issued the used car dealership license instead. But I cannot answer that. I don't know why. We used to, it probably was before licensing, but there used to be a Studebaker franchise
Oh,
on that property as well.
really? But they do indeed sell new boats,
But this isn't boats, this is boat trailers,
boat trailers.
which
This
is,
just
which
the-
is a motor vehicle
Yes.
in Massachusetts.
Okay, but, so the principal, so you're not selling new trailers?
I am selling new trailers.
Okay, clear as mud. All right, my other question had to do with the workman's comp thing, and again, just for my clarity, because I'm sure it's all fine. I just have to find it.
In order to have the license, we have to have the workman's comp, we have to show proof of workman's comp
Yep.
insurance for our employees, and we also actually get bonded. And I suppose that's in case we wrong somebody, that the bond is sitting there just to
Sure,
reimburse them or whatever, I don't know.
sure. It says, are you an employer? And the answer was, and it's a checkbox. We are a corporation, and its officers have exercised the right of exemption, and we have no employees. And then the next paragraph is, I'm an employer that is providing workman's comp for my employees, and it gives the insurance information. So just wondering, it seems to be two contrary statements.
I have no idea.
No idea, thanks. Sorry,
Is-
JR.
Is this an issue?
No,
Yeah.
I'm reading through it. and
Yeah,
it's-
no. I mean,
Yeah.
is this a problem with the license application or not?
Not that I'm aware. He has workman's comp. I think that's the most.
Okay, yeah,
okay.
I just,
Relevant.
as I said, it was just my clarity and,
Right.
I don't understand it. That's,
Okay.
I'm not gonna hang my hat on it either.
Right. Mike, you have a question?
I don't.
So JR, you'll be only selling used trailers then?
No,
No,
we're selling new trailers and sometimes used trailers.
I just,
But they are
It's really interesting because your application says Class 2, but why do you say, is your principal business the sale of new trailers? No.
Just ask that
I,
question.
well, I know, but I
Our principal
understand,
is-
but doesn't it negate this, therefore you cannot sell new trailers? I mean, it doesn't have a license to sell new trailers then.
He doesn't need one.
As I say, I think that comes from a long line, back when perhaps they were afraid to put a new car dealership at
Right.
433. That's my only guess.
Yeah. I
Does it
understand.
impact you at all? I mean,
It-
and like having a license for used vehicles and selling new trailers?
It's not gonna impact me whether the license says new or used. I do have it, as long as I have a dealer's license,
Right.
and I can sign the affidavits required to get the trailer registered, then I'm happy.
And you're able to do that, and you've been able to do that for 40 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is that okay? I mean, this is the legal beagles here, right? There's 3 of them, so is this all okay?
I'm not a dealership licensed.
Me either.
I think we have some questions from the audience.
No, before we finish, is it, I'm still struggling with this one, right? Do we postpone this and get clarity on this point here, guys? Team, Renee?
You can, if you have a specific question that I can ask.
Well, I guess I'm just wondering that it seems muddy,
Yes.
and maybe this is the time.
To fix it.
I mean, as long as it's not going to impact anybody, but this might be the time to fix it,
To get it right.
you know.
Turn your mic on, we can't hear because.
The mics don't work in here, they're for the audience, so.
Lori, maybe you want to come
There's
sit
a
up
whole
front.
bunch of seats in here, completely empty. Please do come forward if you have trouble hearing, and you will hear us perfectly in that front row. Thank you.
So I have no objection if you want to go back and figure this out.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, it's been the used car license for so long that I figured I'd just leave it alone.
Yeah.
But I understand your question.
Right. I think Lauren is about to stand up and say something useful for us and provide clarity.
She always has
Just
something useful.
reading, perhaps it should be a class 1, which is new auto, rather than class 2, which is used.
Right.
And just helping out, I was just going, Bayside's always had a class 2, and I think that just might be a error on our part, so, I mean, it's the same form, I would just print up class 1 rather than class 2.
Okay.
Would it be because they sell new and used?
Correct.
Would you want a class 1 and 2? I mean, would that be?
Sure.
So, JR, this is not going to interrupt your business while we figure out what we need to do, will it?
No.
Okay. If you don't mind, then let's go ahead and get this one cleared up, Rennie. Can we do that?
Sure. What is the specific question?
The specific question is JR, his business sells both new and used trailers, and this license is only for used trailers. So, but if he's been doing it for years, right? But I believe there's maybe a clarifying point from the audience here. Can you please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself?
This might be a Jim.
Pat Loring, 59 Beaverbrook Lane. It's not about the trailers. As neighbors, we're concerned it's a used auto license. He's had trailers, of course, as he says, for 40 years.
Right.
But there are new owners coming in.
Oh,
And this is a license for used automobiles on Washington Street.
All right.
I think that because the boats fall under,
The boats have got,
Trailer.
this is not a license for boats.
no,
Is it
This
the
is a
trailer.
license
right,
the
right.
For
trailers.
motor vehicle.
Yeah, I have a trailer and it's registered
I get it.
DMV and,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
I would,
right, so do we, yeah.
you know, in answer to Pat's
Yes.
comment, yes, we don't know, I accept that. But we do have used car dealerships in town on St. George Street already, and maybe I bet the other garages may have them as well.
But this is in fact the same license that you have had for 40 years.
Or, yeah,
Or
I'm
more.
not sure how long the license goes back.
Right. And specifically for trailers. Specifically for trailers, you've been selling trailers.
Yeah, that's the
I
only
know
motor
this,
vehicle.
yep.
They call them motor vehicles or
Right.
vehicle, and that's, yeah. And if you want to issue the license for boat trailers, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, why don't we sharpen take this opportunity to help the neighborhood feel comfortable? JR's got no problem with it. Why don't we specify exactly what the license applies to? And it's only to new and used boat trailers. Can we do that? Excellent. Is everybody happy? Everybody's happy?
Look at them.
No, you have to, no,
No orders.
Used automobile.
It would mean the license would be specifically for new and used trailers. And we'll actually make it really clear, boat trailers. Not any other trailers, but boat trailers. Does that work? Yeah, boat trailers. And JR is happy?
I'm happy.
Everybody's happy. This is nice. Wonderful. So we'll come back on this one, yeah?
The license does specify that in, sort of like a liquor license where you have to say exactly where you're storing things. That
Okay.
does say specific to boat trailers.
Boat trailers,
You
okay.
just have to do the new and used.
Right, okay.
And we went through several rounds with that St. George company, where they're going to be located, where the parking spots are going to be, everything like that. So these aren't just, you can switch, bait and switch last minute.
Yeah,
They got to specify what they're putting in there.
yeah. So if you see a car being sold, then you come right back here.
Yeah, inside the permit.
It's outside the
Or
permit.
license.
And fine JR tremendous amounts of money. How about that?
So let me just clarify if I may. So the idea is you want to sell both new and used boat trailers only, right?
That's fine.
And we need to figure out what the proper licensure application is.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
If I
Thank you.
can, just not to put more work on JR's plate, but I mean, typically that's the property owner's lawyer's job to figure out what licenses are required for operation of the business. The town certainly, my point is, I don't want the town spending a lot of money on town council to research what's required here. To the extent there's any question about what's required, the new owner has got access to counsel who can undertake a review as to what is actually happening on site and what licenses are required to the extent there's a concern. But I'll also echo Mike's point about Class 2 auto licenses, which this is not, at least for cars. Those also require site plan review from the planning board. So if anything like that were to ever happen here, this would only be one of many steps, which they're not asking for. Just want to clarify. And JR is shaking his head in the affirmative. Okay, that's all I have is.
So with that, am I asking counsel, or are we relying on JR to ask his counsel?
I would prefer that the property owner and business owner first consult with their own counsel to because they're the ones who know what's actually happening at the business. And we don't hide anything in terms of what licenses are required. It's pretty clear. So if it is new, and it just turns out that maybe we've needed new from years ago, then we'll just change it. You know, we're pretty easy to work with up here, and we'll just get filed what needs to be filed with necessary community input.
It's okay, JR?
Sure.
Perfect.
Are you all in agreement with that idea?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fine. With that, you can close the hearing as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I move that the Select Board close the public hearing regarding the proposed application for a Class 2 used auto dealer's license from Blue Water Bayside Lessee LLC, DBA Bayside Marine, located at 433, 441, and 447 Washington Street.
Second.
Seconded by Brian. Roll call vote, starting at Mike.
Michael, aye.
Fernando, aye.
Cindy, aye.
Brian, aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, JR, for listening.
Now we're going to be Water and Sewer Commissioner.
Yep. Okay. Well, the next one is the,
Working group.
yeah,
No, the water and sewer.
no, it's the
Oh,
next.
it isn't?
Yeah, it's the next.
Oh, I see it, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah. All right, as we,
Doing great. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Capture the point.
There you go. We'll schedule this again and we'll make sure you know the date.
yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Fernando,
Yes, sir.
we do have a hearing at 6:45, but can you open it and recess it, please, to immediately following the planning board's presentation?
okay.
On the water ban, unless you want to take things out of order, because the water ban should be quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why don't we, 6:45, if you don't mind, working group, if we can go ahead and, Matthew, if you don't mind, can we just do the public hearing first for the discussion and vote pertaining to proposed water ban?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 6:45. It'll be very quick, right, Mark? All right,
Okay.
let's go ahead and,
Required by law.
I move that Select Board adjourn the meeting as selectmen in order to meet as Water and Sewer Commissioners with the intent of reconvening as Select Board afterwards.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Mark, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Mark Cloud, Water and Sewer Superintendent. So the Duxbury's Water Management Act requires us to impose water restrictions from May through September. Their recommendation or their requirement is 2 days a week before 9 and after 5 p.m. I'm proposing 1 day a week for two reasons. We're having capacity issues with our Millbrook well. It's becoming iron fouled, and there's only 2 well redevelopers, and none of them are available until probably after September. We have to deal with that, and we're also trying to reduce pumping at our Lakeshore Drive well. So that 1 day a week is my recommendation, and 2 days a week is the state's requirement.
Any questions from the select board?
Well, I think, I understand the reason for it. It seems to me, though, that 1 day a week is cutting it kind of close in terms of anybody who uses water for gardens or, I mean, lawn's a big one, obviously, that we're looking to restrict, but we spend a lot of money on our lawns in Duxbury, and I'm concerned that if we drop it to 1 day, that we're going to have dead lawns all over town, and I wonder if there's a middle ground. Obviously, water for domestic use, for drinking, bathing, cooking, all that is primary, and if we're at the point that that's in jeopardy, then this is a no-brainer. But if this is a nice-to-have rather than need-to-have, I'd want to be a little more careful. This is just me. If we have the flexibility of going 2 days, I'd prefer to, but if we have the option of doing one and coming back mid-season to reevaluate and see if we could expand to 2. I just want to be careful, because if we say 1 day, then we've got to enforce it, and I think that's going to be the tricky part. And I just don't know how you enforce it other than driving around and issuing tickets for anybody who's got a sprinkler going that's not on a well.
Very difficult.
Is it? Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a clause here, oh dear, saying that you can water your plants and gardens
Yep.
as long as you have a handheld.
No.
Or a drip irrigation system, watering can, as long as there's an automatic shut-off device. And so it seems, as far as your garden, your flowers, whatever, are concerned, I am much more concerned about conserving water than I am with people's perfect lawns, personally. And I know that's, not a position that everybody holds. But as you said, Brian, I'm more concerned about whether we're in danger.
We'll still be in
for-
compliance with 2 days a week.
Pardon me?
We'll still be in compliance with our Water Management Act at 2 days a week.
All right, and if we go, but you asked for one for a reason.
Because we're losing capacity in the Millbrook well.
Yeah,
It's becoming iron fouled, so that concerns me. And
Right.
There's nobody available to work on it until after the summer.
Okay. I seem to remember last year we went down to 1, didn't we?
Yes,
We've been on 1 before, Brian, and we accepted it last year.
that was during low stream flow.
Right. So in a way, we've got the same sort of issue, but not different issue, but the fact is that we've got issues with being able to supply water. And as we noticed, I think it's 65 gallons per day per person? That's the kind of the,
That's the target.
that's the target.
We were at
And-
81.
Statewide.
Statewide, and we
20.5.
achieved that, we achieved that during the winter months when nobody's watering the gardens
Not in
and
the
then,
summer.
and then we got the knock-on issue is that, as we pointed out before, is that we're, at some point, we're going to be starting to build PFAS treatment facilities that will clean the water down to compliance or less than PFAS, and then we immediately put that wonderful clean water back into the ground again. So I think we need to figure out as a Water and Sewer Commissioners, what are we going to do to ensure that everybody knows and understands that there's a trade-off, right? We want beautiful green lawns, but we're going to have to pay millions of dollars for PFAS treatment equipment to handle that summer demand. I know that we are trying to adjust and the rates that we charge our residents to kind of fund the construction of PFAS equipment, but if we can get it, if we can cut back on our demand and kind of modify our behaviors, and then we as a community, we could save a lot of money. Save a lot of money. So that, I mean, I stand where we did it last year, and I would support the 1 day a week. Mike?
How quickly do you get that data about how much consumption we have? And the reason I ask this is I'm wondering if we can start with the 2, and if you would be willing to come back first week in June, and say, you know, we're way over the 65 and we got to drop this down. I would be more inclined to drop it to 1 then, as opposed to just guessing, because I think that we've taken steps. We said no longer can you hook up new irrigation to your home. We've raised the water rates, and that was supposed to affect consumption. But we haven't seen the data yet because we haven't had a full year of it. But I'm just wondering, even if in this interim where we have to do something, we have to do at least 2 days, down to 2 days, start with that, and then if we have to go down to the 1, or if we have good data suggesting we should go down to the 1 in June, I'd be more inclined to do that. But I think we've taken steps, just to be fair, like I agree with what people are saying, but we've already done that. We just haven't seen how it's going to play out yet.
Yep.
So,
Just a question. Well, you talked about wanting to do less out at Lakeshore Drive, but I thought we were closing those.
At this point, we can't, I won't be able to maintain the tank levels without Lakeshore in service.
right.
We would need to take drastic steps to take Lakeshore offline.
So what I'm hearing is 2 for and 2 against. A
Well,
split vote.
you have four, it's just how many days, whether
Yes.
it's 2 or 1.
Let's see. I think what I'm hearing is 2 for 1 and 2 for 2.
Yeah.
So why don't we do the following, right? Mark, it sounds critical, right? Because Lakeshore PFAS levels are above, what are the current Lakeshore PFAS levels
We are in compliance with the maximum contaminant level at this point.
at this point?
Yep.
But
In 2031,
we'll be out of compliance.
yes.
And I think we have that issue that hasn't come up, that conversation with the Water Advisory Board. It's over 4 parts per trillion, right? Okay, so EPA has a standard right now of, it has to be under 4 parts per trillion. However, we're,
Not until
It's not enforced until.
it's not enforced,
later date.
right? But people are, that's the problem we get into.
Yep.
So we're having to use that well to keep things going. By the sounds of it, that's what I just heard, right?
water
Yeah.
people's
We're gonna
lungs.
maintain power supply.
Right.
I would be willing to do the month, to do it for the month of May, 2 days a week.
All right.
And, maybe that'll help people that are putting their lawns in, planting all that nice clover that doesn't need water. And,
Right.
and then look into it again the 1st of June.
Okay.
Yeah, how about, okay, good idea. How about this for suggestion for the water commissioners is Mark, you keep an eye on levels and you kind of come back in a month's time and produce a graph of consumption from different wells and the PFAS levels in each of those wells, and come back and tell us how you're doing, all right?
Okay.
We can do that? Is that okay? Come back in a month? But we do the 2 days a week. We leave it as it is right now.
So we don't need a motion to go to 2 days a week because that's.
You do, because right now it's written for one.
Okay,
Okay.
I
right.
don't think there are any restrictions right now, are there?
No.
I thought there was 2025
mandatory.
restrictions,
No,
no?
they were
Okay.
lifted in
Oh,
the
they're
fall.
lifted.
Oh, okay, so, okay, I'm going to do the motion. I move that due to continued drought conditions and in order to maintain the town of Duxbury's water supply for domestic water use and fire protection, the Water and Sewer Commissioners approve mandatory outside watering restrictions effective,
Immediately. Or no, until such time. Yeah.
until such time that our withdrawal permit allows or the state deems otherwise, as follows. I didn't know whether I wanted to say until the 1st of June, which point we're going to re-examine, but number one, all households are restricted to conduct outdoor watering to 2 days per week. Odd number houses shall be restricted to Tuesdays
And Thursdays,
and
yeah.
Thursdays, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and even-numbered houses should be restricted to watering on Mondays and Wednesdays
Yeah.
only. All outdoor watering shall occur before the hours of 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. Rain sensors must be installed and used on all irrigation systems. The watering of plants or gardens is permitted as long as it is done so through the use of drip irrigation, watering cans, or a hose with a handheld nozzle or sprayer equipped with an automatic shut-off device to stop the water from flowing if the person were to walk away or leave the hose unattended. And 5, persons found in violation of the watering ban shall be fined $50 for the first offense and $100 per day for each additional offense. The full cooperation of Duxbury's residents is required and appreciated in order to help prevent a total ban on outdoor water use.
Excellent. Kind of a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
And this,
Pat?
for
Yeah.
those with systems, this requires them to adjust the days and times of watering, and hopefully the system itself will handle it from there. And as Mike pointed out, we've changed the rates, and
Yep.
I think bills we just received today, or thereabouts, and I think folks in the next quarter will reevaluate how much water they want to use once they see what the numbers actually look like,
Yeah.
and that might help as well.
Yep.
And I formally request yourself, Mark, to come before the Water and Sewer Commissioners a month from now to give us an update on water consumption and PFAS levels that we're supplying.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Have a great night. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I move that the Water and Sewer Commissioners adjourn and reconvene as the Select Board.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes unanimously. Thank you. Matthew, thank you very much for adjusting, allowing us to adjust the agenda. Thank you.
Yeah. And Kathy and Lester, I think, are
Oh,
here
yeah,
for that
right.
as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, JR.
Thanks, JR.
You wanted to hear that anyhow, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, good.
Right.
Good evening.
Popcorn.
Good to be among fellow Star Wars fans here, I guess. May the fourth be with you. Or at least a few Star Wars fans. So we've got, I should also mention, we've got the head of DPW, Sheila Scarzi, on the Zoom here.
Okay.
So she may be contributing at some point. And so I think Lauren's got the PowerPoint there. So basically, as you probably all know, just to kind of orient you, although I'm sure you know what Hall's Corner looks like from above, there have been many attempts over the years. Hall's Corner has kind of been a problem for the town for a long time, and so there have been many attempts to reconfigure it. I was actually just looking in my computer files a few minutes ago and found some drawings from 1977 where they proposed a redesign, and then there are others from like the 2010s and more recently and so forth. So this, obviously I just picked this up when I started in early July, so a lot of this predates me, but my understanding is that a grant was received from the state in 2023, which led to, or partly led to the creation of this Hall's Corner Working Group which I think started meeting in 2024. There's a report from what's called Fisher Consulting, Fisher Engineering, from I think kind of middle of last year, which has been a big part of this proposal. So basically, the proposal is to the proposal that we want to show you is to redesign, to slightly redesign Hall's Corner, especially to make it more pedestrian friendly and just kind of safer and a little bit more kind of intuitive and legible for people. One of the crucial goals we had in this is to not to make dramatic changes, because it seems like in the past part of the problem has been that some of the proposals were a little bit maybe too ambitious, although certainly well intentioned, and so as a result they never got implemented at all. And so with an eye towards this actually being implemented, or at least this being kind of feasible to implement, I think the working group really tried to kind of not be too ambitious and just make some small changes that are actually doable. And in particular, on that note, tried to preserve as many parking spaces as possible, because that's just a massive priority for the businesses who are in Hall's Corner. And obviously, businesses are good for the town's tax base. The businesses are viable. The businesses are what bring people to Hall's Corner in the first place, other than trying to go through it. And so we want to keep those businesses healthy and running well. You can go to the next slide. So I think I kind of went over this in the background. We've got some people obviously who've been on the working group for a long time, so they can talk more to this if necessary. But again, the report from Fisher Engineering was, I think, from last year, so that's been an important part of this. And I guess go ahead to the next slide. So in the process of coming up with this proposal, the working group did get letters of support or sometimes verbal statements of support from these different kind of departments and boards and committees and so forth. So we have spent a lot of time actually in the past 6 months or so in meeting and talking with a lot of these different these different kind of stakeholders and groups, because it's valuable to get the input of all of them. In the process, sometimes we've kind of tweaks and changes have been made as they've given us input.
Matthew, can I just, sorry to interrupt, but what about the business owners? Have you also engaged with them? Do you have their support in what that you're proposing?
Fernando.
Here we go.
Emily Partain's on here. She's on this working group as well. And,
Right.
her role, and she could speak more to it, was to go out and
Engage with them.
engage with them.
The business
Kind of, and she's on there if she wants.
Okay. Well, why don't we leave that point for further discussion
We do
at the
have
end.
points as we get to
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
later on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Emily's also kind of very much spoken sort of with an eye to the priorities of the business owners as well, yeah.
Right.
In addition to sort of reaching out to them. Next slide. So just from the road safety audit from 2023, I won't bother to kind of read it out loud to you, but obviously it's kind of stuff you already know. Just that from a safety point of view, but also just kind of from a comfort point of view as well, or kind of a clarity point of view. It could be improved, which actually could be to the benefit of everybody, and both users and businesses, if Hall's Corner becomes sort of a more appealing location. Next slide. And then again, I guess broadly speaking, this is all kind of things you already know, although you may not know all these kind of details. But just kind of this is, I guess, from maybe the 5 years preceding 2023 or something. I'm not sure the dates, but I guess it's from 2018 to 2023. But just sort of the police records of the various crashes and fender benders and so forth. The one good thing, at least from what I understand, the one kind of silver lining is that because Hall's Corner is so confusing to every driver who comes there, and it's just kind of a bit of a mess and a maze. People really go slowly and they kind of pull out gradually and start, and they're really careful, either because they know it's hazardous or because they're confused and so forth. And so for that reason, at least my understanding is there are not a lot of traffic fatalities that happen at Hall's Corner. I don't,
But the poor roundabout keeps them getting hit.
yeah, the roundabout, luckily the
That's
roundabout
probably
is
suffered the most, that
not
roundabout.
the roundabout's not an actual living being, so luckily that's okay. But yeah, I mean, obviously there've been plenty of fender benders and so forth, and I think especially for a pedestrian or a bicyclist, even if it's a car traveling slowly, it could be fatal. So I think it is important to keep that in mind.
Right.
But as far as cars hitting each other, I mean, for the most part, you're not going to have many people, going through Hall's Corner at 45 miles an hour. So at least in that sense, it's not maybe as dangerous as it could be. But it's still important to just, to keep in mind that there's always the potential, I think, for a pedestrian or a bicyclist could easily get killed in Hall's Corner. Next slide. So I guess this is cut off a little bit, but just sort of a reminder that actually, it looks like Emily Partain has joined us. I don't know if technically if you want to announce that the Hall's Corner Working Group the meeting is now opened, or just sort of a procedural thing. Now you have 4, I guess, with Mike McGee.
I'm not on it, actually.
Okay.
I'm just a liaison.
Oh, okay, all right. So I guess we have half of the members, so maybe we don't have to announce it's open in that case.
It's fine. They're not deliberating at the moment, so.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, so this is from the Complete Streets Prioritization Plan from a few years ago. And just kind of, you don't have to read all the details, but just a reminder that it's been something that's kind of been on the radar screen. So in this prioritization plan, there were some mentions of the of improvements that they wanted to make, either in Hall's Corner or in some of the streets leading up to Hall's Corner, kind of close to Hall's Corner. Next slide. And here again, kind of the same, again, just on the same sort of note, with the Envision Duxbury Comprehensive Plan from 2019, some of the I put out some of the goals and strategies that relate to Hall's Corner. So it's something it's been on people's awareness for a while. And I think the one kind of message that comes back again and again is to make it a little more walkable, a little more safe, and maybe a little bit more kind of clarity and so forth. And I guess just kind of to also mention, I think it's fair to say Hall's Corner is pretty unique within Duxbury. I mean, I think this is the only sort of little business node in Duxbury that really feels like a kind of traditional little downtown. It's walkable, that you feel like you're in a little downtown. Places like Cox's Corner or, along Route 3A and 53, those are more kind of, those are good, those are valuable as well, but they're a little bit more sort of car-oriented, more sort of strip malls like that. Millbrook Village, I guess, is becoming a bit walkable, but still I think Hall's Corner is kind of, in that sense, even though it's small, it's kind of a treasure for Duxbury in that regard. Yeah. Next slide. So now getting into kind of the meat of the presentation, this is what we're actually proposing. So again, it's not a dramatic change. It really just adds some crosswalks, a stop sign, some ADA compliant curb cuts for pedestrians to link into those crosswalks. It adds a little bit of additional kind of sidewalks especially along Chestnut Street, potentially along Standish as well, a few other spots near the Duncan where we're kind of improving the sidewalks or putting in new sidewalks for pedestrians. In a few cases, I think the current sort of brick sidewalks would be replaced by those ADA curb cuts. And now we'll get into more of the details. Next slide. So for Depot Street, you can see that this would, obviously there's already a stop sign there, but this would add a proper crosswalk along with the ADA curb cuts, which obviously are valuable for people in wheelchairs or sometimes handicapped people or anybody pushing a stroller, for example. This would probably necessitate getting rid of a parking space at Duncan there because you're putting in a little bit of the sidewalk there, again, for the sake of pedestrians. And then the sidewalk kind of continues further down along Chestnut. When originally, like as of 4 or 5 months ago, part of this proposal was to kind of officially add parking spaces next to Duncan. And it appears that actually the owners of Duncan have kind of gone ahead and done that on their own, or at least they put up those signs that say, parking only for Duncan customers here. So I don't know if they've actually put in the markings and so forth, but they kind of they went ahead and did that. Next slide. In here for Chestnut Street. Chestnut Street is kind of the most difficult one in a sense because it's extremely difficult, and Sheila could speak more to this. It's extremely hard to try to get to put a stop sign where we would want a stop sign to be, which obviously would be, right as you go into the actual intersection. So we're proposing to put the stop sign further back, and you can see it would be more or less where we're proposing the crosswalk is there, and then we're proposing to put in a bit more sidewalks to make it more walkable for people to actually get to the crosswalk in some cases, and then for the driveway next to the Chestnut Street Grill to become a kind of a one-way thing for safety and clarity. So in this case, the crosswalk would be about 225 feet from the intersection. So in this, I think there is a yield sign along here as well. But this is the one point where, it's not ideal. Obviously, we would prefer there to be a stop sign, right at the intersection. But at the moment, it seems like it's working fairly well as it is. So it may be something that we have to accept. And again, I mean, if we did try to put in the stop sign, we might have to use eminent domain or something to get some of those spaces, to get that space, or to get rid of a lot of parking space. So that's kind of part of the reason why, at least for the moment, we're not proposing to try to put a stop sign right up at the intersection. Next slide. And then for Bay Road, this one's a little bit simpler, but again, to try to put in to put the crosswalk in a better position from where it is currently, so people can see more clearly. A little safer for pedestrians, hopefully, and again, putting in some sidewalks, possibly getting rid of the parking space in front of the deli. And then, depending on what we decide, we're kind of leaving this a little bit open for the moment, but the 2 parking spaces that are right on the curve along in front of the insurance mortgage store would possibly be eliminated, perhaps, but we might keep them depending on kind of what decision we eventually make.
And Matt, just to clarify for everyone here, there's been some discussions in the meetings about just leaving this. This is a concept, but there were some questions about, this is not an engineering drawing by any stretch here, and it may be that existing crosswalk is the best way to stick with it, as opposed to doing something that is perpendicular. 'Cause there is a crosswalk there now.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, a perpendicular crosswalk is better, but as you said, the existing crosswalk is probably sufficient, and if it turns out this is too complicated or causes too much trouble, then...
Am I wrong on that? You can just give me a head nod, I know. You guys are correct, okay.
The only thing is, I'm assuming the reason why you would propose or thinking about removing the 2 parking spots in front of the insurance and mortgage company is because of visibility, blocking the view
Yeah,
from the
definitely.
cars coming down Standish. They can't see.
It's more Stevens Street than it is
Yeah.
Bay Road.
Bay Road is
And also,
Standish.
and also pedestrians trying to cross Standish Street,
Right.
the cars can curve around pretty quickly. And if people are parking there, then when they're trying to get in or out, that can cause collisions too.
Yeah.
On the other hand, obviously those parking spaces are possibly very valuable to, the owner of the people who run the insurance and mortgage business there. So, that'll be something we have to kind of keep thinking about, I think.
Does that business have off-street parking? Or do they depend on the 2 out front, the mortgage?
Yeah. Maybe I can answer it. I recognize the car. Keep on going. It's the owner of the insurance company parks up front,
Yeah.
right? So it's not for customers, it's for, anyway.
There's a lot beside the building.
Yeah.
Is that-
There's a lot right beside the building, yeah.
And I think, some of it is limited, as Emily's popped up on the chat there. Parking is limited in that area generally.
Right.
Additionally, where the deli is, if you look at where this crosswalk was drawn in, but in the concept drawing, it looks like it actually kind of runs to nowhere. It runs right into a spot. So I would certainly want to see from an engineering
Yeah.
perspective whether that even makes sense.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a bridge to nowhere,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word. Whereas the current crosswalk goes from sidewalk to sidewalk.
All right, I raise that because, as we've pointed out here, that parking's at a premium here, and unless
Yeah.
there's a real public safety issue, like sight
Yeah.
distance,
Yeah.
I would be hesitant to remove any spots, especially if, that's why I asked if there's off-site, off-street, because if they're depending on those two, we want to encourage business in town, and if you can't park there, you're probably not going to go to the office.
Yes.
There's a parking lot there.
Yeah, and I think what's, an overarching theme here is that, yes, there's a parking lot there. That parking lot's used by all those businesses. It's not just, we're talking about the insurance company
Oh,
there.
no, I
Oh,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's
when
just-
you
yeah.
take away, it's a trickle-down effect. So
Yeah,
it's,
sure.
and Emily pointing out, it fills up every day, all day long, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think also there's just a psychological aspect of having a parking space right in front of the business, even if it's not always available. Like, it just creates such a sort of simplicity and ease for people who want to park. You don't have to worry about it. You just see it and you're like, oh, I'll just pull it right in there. So, it's only two spaces, but they, for this particular business, those spaces could be incredibly valuable. So that's
Right.
something we had to always
So
keep
we'll
in
we'll
mind.
put a pin in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Good day.
Next slide. And now for Standish. So here there is a stop sign, and I believe there is an existing, I'm sorry, there's no crosswalk. There is a stop sign, but there's no crosswalk currently. There are sidewalks on both sides of the road, although the sidewalk on kind of the lower part of Standish there doesn't quite go to the new crosswalk we're showing. So here, our original idea was to put the new crosswalk, close to the intersection along with the stop sign. But then we because that would probably have to eliminate the 2 or 3 parking spaces that are nearby that aren't supposed to be there just by, I guess, kind of road codes, traffic codes of how you're supposed to do these things with crosswalks. And obviously for the businesses there, those might be really crucial parking spaces. So we changed our minds, at least tentatively, and pulled the crosswalk further back. So now, this is what we're now proposing, at least kind of
Right.
tentatively.
This is, to Fernando's question, this is the Emily part, going out to the businesses, talking to them. So she has some feedback on the businesses along here and why that was a change,
Okay.
or a suggestion, and I think there's some other thoughts too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a hard decision, and obviously we're showing both on this drawing, just to kind of make you aware of it, I guess. But if we did pull the crosswalk back to where it's shown there, where it's more perpendicular to the road, it would probably get rid of one parking space. But from the feedback we've gotten, we feel that might be a space that can more easily go away. It would probably necessitate building a little bit of sidewalk to connect to it. I think you need maybe to build the sidewalk from here to there. So
Right.
there's just a little bit there. But for the most part, it seems like that might be a better solution. Next slide. And then Washington is actually probably the simplest, just to try to move the crosswalk a tiny bit and put in the curb cuts, again, for ADA, the sake of ADA and safety. We might try to align the crosswalk a little better with the stop sign as opposed to the current design. But for the most part, this is kind of the simplest one. Next slide.
Before we go there.
Yeah, can we just go back to that one?
Yeah.
Can we talk with Emily and get some feedback, Emily? Can you
Yeah, if
share-
let's start with, can we go back to the Standish one? Just for the board's kind of understanding. Emily, could you just give a little background about why this spot was preferred to be removed as opposed to the one that's an angle park?
Of course, yes. So, hi, my name is Emily Partain. I'm on Halls Corner Working Group. I also live in Halls Corner and own the Chestnut Street Grill. So, very invested, and I feel like we have really come up with a specific goal for this group, and I feel like we're really close to achieving it. So it's exciting. But anyway, so I basically took on the task of meeting with the local business owners and showing them the plans. And when we first approached them with this plan, I had a lot of pushback from Cotton's and Duxbury Pizza, and, absolutely, for every right reason, and understandably so. After I talked to them and looked back at the plan, it would really harm Cotton's business, and obviously they're closing now, and this was conversation was prior to the retirement sale and all that, but another business will go in there, and those spots really are kind of make it or break it for the jeweler and for the Cotton spot. So, and with my parents have owned benchwarmers, and parking was limited over there, and so I understand Duxbury Pizza's concern with this original plan, and so we went back to the drawing board and came up with this, and then I went and spoke with Dr. Carr, who's directly in front of that new crosswalk area, and he actually would prefer to have that parking spot removed. He says it, creates a blind spot. It's really hard to see cars coming down Standish when you're trying to pull out of that driveway. Now with the nicer months and kids coming out and bikes and e-bikes and scooters and all that, it really, he's very much so in favor of the crosswalk going there and the parking space being removed. So, obviously as a business owner myself, I want to make sure that my neighbors are happy and the plan makes sense. We don't want to, take anything and shove it down their throat. We want to make sure everyone's on board and, it overall supports and helps the business community. So we have had positive feedback with this new location. So I'm confident that, going forward, we'll be in the right place.
Thank you, Emily. With regards to, can you move on to, go back to Bay Road?
Did anybody else from the working group want to say anything about that street before we move on? Go ahead.
We all agree with Emily. I think that this is the best solution. I do want to point out, though, that the state standard is for no parking within 30 feet of the stop line, and that's, of course, about the visibility issue. That's why the spaces that exist there by the liquor store and Cotton's are difficult for people. But we don't want to, aside from that, we want to make that a secondary issue in terms of the businesses, and that's why we're in favor of relocating the crosswalk. But I do think those are hazarded. Those parking spaces do represent some hazard for pedestrians and drivers.
Can I just ask a clarifying question then? Sorry. There's a stop sign there, right?
Yes.
But what I'm hearing is that we're not in compliance with state law because we have parking spots that are...
They're grandfathered in.
They're grandfathered in.
Right, and I don't know that it's a law. I called it a standard. I'm not sure of the exact terminology. That's why the consultant originally recommended that location and those parking spaces be removed.
Okay, but they're grandfathered in anyway, so...
That's
okay.
what we believe. That's what we believe.
All right. Brian?
Question on this slide, Lester, before you go. The crosshatch area in front of Duxbury Wine and Spirits, is that intended to no longer be parking? Is that why they're crossed out?
With the crosswalk at that location, it would no longer be parking.
Okay.
But with the new location, the new location would not affect those parking spaces.
Okay, so
They would still remain as grandfathered even if they don't meet standards.
All right, so the crosshatched areas that I see in front of Duxbury Wine and Spirits and Duxbury Pizza, so if we move the crosswalk down further up Standish, then I ignore the crosshatch, nothing changes up there.
Correct.
Right. I guess my only concern with that, and I understand from the business perspective why it makes sense, I wonder how realistic it is for pedestrians to walk down Standish Street, to cross Standish Street to come back. Because on paper, it doesn't look that bad. But if you're in a hurry, I think it's likely that folks are going to cross at the corner anyway, regardless of where you stripe the crosswalk. And I want to make sure that whatever we decide makes economic sense, obviously, for the businesses, but is also safe.
I think that the majority of the people that would be walking on the Beehive side, that would be crossing there, in my opinion, they're going to continue down Standish. Otherwise, I feel like they would go Depot to Duxbury Wine. I don't know, I just feel like that would be my travel path, I guess, so to say. So like if I was coming from Chestnut Street Grill and I was going to the liquor store, I would cross Depot and then I would cross Washington. So if I was, walking that way, I feel like the majority of pedestrian traffic would cross from the Bay Road side to the Standish side and then continue like towards Scoops and Foodsmith.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'd just also add that we talked about this recently too, that yes, you're going to have people that are going to go to Foodsmith and Scoops during the summer there. It gives, a young family a safe opportunity to do it the right way up there at a crosswalk. But from a car perspective, you have to slow down at the crosswalk and at the stop sign. So that whole space in between the crosswalk and you've got now like almost like a slow zone there. So it actually creates like kind of an added buffer there too, that you're no longer having cars kind of zip to the stop sign. You have to stop at the crosswalk too. That's state law.
Only if people are in it.
Yeah.
And if I may, it's also important that it would represent an opportunity for an accessible path.
Exactly.
Which there is none of right now.
Okay.
So, although I myself would still cross at the old location, because I live 100 feet away, but at least it gives families with strollers,
Right.
people who have some difficulty seeing, a way to cross, people with canes, a way to cross without having to navigate a curb.
Would there be signage next to the crosswalk? In other words, some crosswalks have like a sign at the end saying crosswalk here or the arrow, or would we propose that there so it's obvious for somebody
Right,
down
I
the corner?
think that piece and maybe others would come from probably an engineering piece here. So this is concepts.
All right.
But your point, I mean, we had a lot of the same kind of questions,
Yeah.
but what we got from the consultant was this,
All right.
based on deeds and what we were asking them to do. But it would take a much more thorough engineering design to have all that done.
Yeah, and we won't have perfect as the enemy of better,
Correct.
right? So make some compromises.
Emily, I have a question with regards to Bay Road. Lauren, can you go back to Bay Road? Emily, do you have a chance to speak with the owners of the insurance and mortgage business there?
I'm not in favor of this plan. I would propose to keep it as is.
Okay. So the answer is
I don't
yes.
think that this makes I don't think it benefits anything, to be honest. And we had this discussion in the group last time,
Yeah.
I don't like this plan. I think we just leave this one as is.
Okay. And then,
Well, to your point, but was the owner of the insurance company consulted?
that was my question.
He has no, I did speak with Magwood, Chris Magwood, he, doesn't oppose the plan, but the plan that I discussed with him was to not lose those spots.
Okay.
So,
All right.
All right. Can we go
I
then?
can't imagine that they would be in favor of that. I can't support that. I don't think really any, I know you guys wouldn't. So, I think this is because what Fisher was doing for us to put together like how it should be, like what the, state recommendations require, those type of things. So, I think this is, if we had a perfect scenario here, this is what they would recommend, but obviously Hall's Corner is so far from that I think it just makes more sense to just leave it and not fix something that isn't quite broken.
Okay. Lauren, can we go to Chestnut Street then? Emily, this one is close to home, so what do the business think of this one?
I love it. I live a couple houses up. It doesn't affect parking. It just continues really the sidewalk, the walkability of it. I think making that a one-way next to the grill should already be a one-way. It basically is, but it's not officially, so.
Okay.
Especially when you have cars parked on the side, you can't, it literally is not wide enough to have 2 cars go by it when there's cars parked on the side. So in order to add the crosswalk, I think it's an easy fix to implement that there.
Right.
And also, we had, putting it towards the closer of the center would have been ideal, but it would have eliminated, 2 or 3 spots on the right side, 2 or 3 spots on the left side. The stop sign, it just, we all know that that's, in a perfect world, it'd be great, but it's not gonna be like that.
Okay.
So, putting this crosswalk here kind of avoids like the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through and that kind of chaotic traffic. So I do think this is a great location for this one.
I have a question. I don't know who this is for. Making that driveway enter only, and that makes sense to me. But my question is, on Standish, can people still come in there to park, or do they have to,
Or Bay Road, you mean? There's definitely still
Bay
enough
Road, I'm
for
sorry, Bay
2
Road.
cars to pass in that back parking lot.
No, so it's an enter only, but it's not a one-way. Is that what's going
Because
on,
there's
Matt?
also that gym that's back there,
Yeah.
so they can still come in from the Bay Road side.
So it's, yeah, and it says right on there, enter only. Yeah, so it'd probably just be an enter only, not one way. Right on the slide at the bottom, right?
Enter only.
It would
I
just
see
say
it.
enter only, not one-way road. It wouldn't be a one-way
Okay,
road.
so, okay,
Yeah, there would be nothing on Bay Road.
okay.
And then the final one is on Depot Street. That impacts Dunkin' Donuts there. Emily, any feedback from the owner of Dunkin'?
No, I haven't met with them yet. The spots on the side, when we first did the study, weren't technically spots. So we didn't see a concern there, but now that they have the signs up, it looks like they're kind of marking their territory, which is rightfully so. I obviously have no problem with that. This one, I feel as though, the reason that I can support this one is, I feel like that parking spot is really difficult to back out of.
Yeah.
Especially when you have cars coming up Depot, it's like, they don't even look at you. They don't even consider you a possibility to be backing out of that spot. So you have to be so careful because they're just looking at the traffic coming from the rotary. They're not expecting anyone to be in their way from the right-hand side. So I really feel like that's one that we can push as like a safety issue. And I think that the overall plan and the safety of, vehicles is kind of more important here in this situation right there. I'm not necessarily in favor of the one on the actual side of the building. I don't know if that's like completely necessary based on how much space is there, but that spot out front, I just think if we're gonna get a crosswalk out of it, that's something that they should consider to, get rid of.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm a little concerned, this has nothing to do with the plan, Matt, this is really sort of for you, that a business owner has gone and provided themselves with spaces with maybe not going to the planning board?
They're just signs on the building. They're not lined.
Yeah, I don't know what the legality is of that. I'm not sure if that would, depending on the situation, I don't know if they would necessarily
Okay.
need legal approval from the planning board, but they might need some kind of legal approval. I'm not sure whether they should have gone through building department, or I don't know how the legality of that works. But it did trouble me because it seemed like they just put the signs up, and I don't know, if they really have the legal authority over those spaces there, if
I thought
it's
it was a
appropriate. I
plan.
mean, is it appropriate from a safety point of view? it shouldn't be up to just ordinary business. I mean, unless it's really on their property, it shouldn't be up to them to.
I think it is on their property.
Take that.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's on their property, and I also think that I think why they put the signs up is because if you go through there during the day, there used to be a lot of like landscape trucks with their trailers, and they take up basically the whole side, and they, go to the gas station and get snacks, or they go to Duxbury Pizza and get their lunch, and they were just sitting there for, a half hour to an hour.
Right.
From, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and you have that salon in there now, so they have more businesses that have clients coming and going in there. So I think they're just trying to say like, hey, come on, like, don't be eating your sub on the side of our building for 45 minutes at 11 o'clock. I think that's where those signs came from.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can certainly, from Duncan's point of view, I can totally understand their way of thinking. I can sympathize with their point of view. But yeah, the legality, I'm not quite sure. I mean, even if it is their property, I'm not entirely sure of the legality there. One thing I wanted to mention, I guess two things I wanted to mention really quickly. For the Chestnut Street, I think it could become a little bit like the standard street that somebody mentioned before, like the whole thing kind of, by putting in that additional crosswalk there further back, the whole thing kind of becomes like an extended slow zone. So potentially that does make it safer. And then I guess with regard to the issue of kind of spaces and situations, configurations being grandfathered, Sheila could speak to this a lot more knowledgeably than I can. But yeah, I think sort of virtually everything in Hall's Corner, just would not meet current contemporary, traffic design engineering standards. It's all violating it in some form or another. So that's kind of another aspect of kind of what we're up against here.
Okay. Are you okay with that answer, Cindy?
Well, I'm just, Brian, my recollection, it's been a while since I've been on the planning board, but if businesses wanted to have parking, they would come
Yeah.
Site plan.
before the.
Site plan.
Yep.
Planning board for, yeah.
Yep.
So does Duncan have a site plan approval? He must have that back in their records somewhere, right?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Well, I suppose so, yes, because
Yeah.
they've got parking in front, they've got that the drive-through and the parking there and whatever, but, and if it's not actual parking, I suppose it doesn't matter, but they've put up signs saying Duncan people, I don't know. I haven't seen it, I don't know.
When did they put the signs up, do you know?
I don't know.
Obviously.
They're definitely within the past few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a fair request from the select board to Matthew then to dig in the files and see if there's a site plan for the Duncan and that they're in conformance with their parking?
I think we can probably clean it up in connection with whatever this
Right.
project is.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
And
okay.
again, that would
Yep.
be like the engineering here.
Yep.
This is just a concept, we might not even need
Okay.
to touch that left side,
Fair enough.
and
All right.
Well, and
Anyway,
then- yeah.
So
Probably.
the answer that we have hasn't been answered will be answered when we do the engineering then. Talk about engineering,
yeah, and
cost
just,
estimates.
well, and just before that,
Yeah.
how did I forgot how we left, how did the working group feel about that Washington Street piece? I forgot if we cared about doing anything there, or it was only like
I think that the one with Washington Street is that it moves the stop sign back. You can see
Oh, that's right.
the white stop sign on the ground, and with Fisher, they proposed to move the stop sign behind the crosswalk. We didn't really have a strong opinion either way in terms of what we felt was better. We kind of wanted to see how the select board felt and the rest of the people in Hall's Corner, because it almost in a way I feel like could slow traffic down, like we're creating kind of like these buffer zones. Because obviously if you're stopping there's no way you can see the traffic coming off of Standish Street.
Yeah.
But
So you still gotta roll
I
forward.
think it could go in either place. I don't think you're not required to stop at a crosswalk unless there's people there, right?
Yep,
correct.
okay.
It seems like if somebody was, those of us that live here and know the area would know that if you stop there, you still have to go forward very slowly.
Right.
to see if
Right.
things are
Right.
coming.
Yeah.
But if you're not
So
from
we're thinking
around,
that could be a positive thing, but again, right, if you're not, then you
You're-
don't know.
if you're not from around, then you might just say, okay, I can go now. And,
Right.
it seems to me that a stop sign should be at a point where you can see what's
what's coming.
Coming.
Leave
But
it where
I-
it is, in other words.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Hall's Corner, really, the line of sight visibility.
Right, because
it's
you
not
can't
good.
from Bay Road either.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's difficult.
It's really,
You just gotta get out in there.
you just got to get out, and that's the nice thing about Hall's Corner, actually, it's so confusing that that people slow down trying to figure out what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, they kind of
So I don't
they
think we
nudge
have
themselves
a
in.
strong opinion either way, but I think the engineering study will give us an answer on that.
Right.
I'm with Cindy on that one, though.
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to leave the stop sign where it is, even though it's beyond the crosswalk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because that's naturally where you're gonna be looking left to Standish,
Yeah.
right to Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want two stop signs in a row, that wouldn't make
No.
sense.
No,
So you gotta pick a spot.
And did we have a feeling as to whether we needed to, I know that the concept was to have it perpendicular, but there's already a crosswalk there.
Yeah.
Did we need to make more cutouts? Was there a
No,
thought on
I think we
that?
save the money and just keep it as is.
It needs to be accessible. It's
Ah.
not accessible.
Got
Right,
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it would
Okay,
need to be
cutouts.
fixed in some way.
Yeah, it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, one way or another, we have to do something.
Okay.
Got it. Cost estimates. That was a great conversation, so thank you very much for indulging us in the Q&A.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's those conversations are the most valuable part of the process. So yeah, cost estimates. So these are again I believe these are from the Fisher report. They're pretty approximate since again, what Fisher proposed, was not like a completely fully engineered, design with fully engineered drawings and so forth. So this is kind of more schematic. But my impression from talking to Sheila, and she can kind of jump in and say more, but my impression is that Sheila feels that these numbers are, within the vague realm of possibility, or fairly somewhere, they're not too far away from what would make sense. And then go to the next slide, unless you guys want to.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess go back to the
So
cost.
the initial piece here is that bottom one there, the 10% engineering? Or Sheila, do you want to jump in here at all about what would be the next step and how we would even get to like real cost estimates?
Yeah, so I think the engineering is on the low side. I think we're looking over 20 grand to really do this correctly. One of the things we're going to have to do, this moves forward, we need to do a full survey to understand what the property lines are. As you've seen from some of the proposals, we're proposing to do work on private property. So we'd have to be seeking easements or some sort of license agreements. So there's quite a bit to do here. I know the question has been raised, could the new town engineer do the engineering? I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for somebody brand new to cut their teeth on this project in this location. However, would want to see the new town engineer very involved in this project, and they could conceivably very easily do the construction inspection if we get to that point. But I think the engineering's a little low, but this is ballpark within realm what the project, I would expect the project to cost.
Okay.
Sheila, there's about decades of surveys and plans on Hall's Corner, various groups. This particular group, the last one to go, used a lot of them. We collected a lot of these surveys and a lot of these plans. Could they be used by either our engineer or another engineer to do that and maybe cut into the cost a little bit? Because we've done deeds, research,
and
and
dig into what exists for survey. First question I asked was where are the property lines, where would they get their info, and it sounded to me and it looked to me like it was GIS based, which isn't typically spatially accurate. So we need to know exactly where those property lines are. So
I thought there was a
very
survey about
important.
10 years ago.
thought so too. Maybe we could look into it. I know that the planning Emily has collected a lot of these. They were when we first started meeting, they were all uploaded for Fisher. So there's a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
But you know a lot more than I do, Sheila, about GIS and things like that, so I may be totally wrong.
Yeah, so we would definitely look into that. If there's a way to save money, we would do that. One thing I do want to caution, there's been a lot of talk about this, and we do want to do this, and we don't want to do that, and that's grandfathered. Once you touch an area, you have to bring it up to standards. So we have to comply with MUTCD and MassDOT standards. So we have to be very careful how we proceed at each of these locations. The DPW fully supports improvements in this area. Really want to see ADA compliant curb ramps in the Halls Corner area so we can have walkability. However, we just have to look at this very carefully. When you start putting in stop bars, there's a reason why stop bars are before crosswalks. That's an MUTCD. Crosswalks have to be, I think it's at least 20 feet away from a parking space. So we have to look at all that. I know everyone wants to retain parking spaces, but there's going to be some hard decisions when it's actually engineered, when it's past the conceptual level.
Yikes.
I must admit, I was getting kind of excited. We've been trying to solve this problem for about 3 decades, and I thought this was a really good presentation. I was excited. I was going to see what the board felt to move ahead. I want to thank everybody for the good job. And Sheila's just said, hold on a second. We might be another decade before we make any further progress, because by the sounds of it, if we make changes, it is going to impact the businesses. That's what I've just heard. Is that correct?
I think it's better to hear that now than later.
True.
But yeah, I think if we can get to the point where we're actually putting forward some actual engineering drawings and engineering doing things in more specificity, we'll probably get a better sense of what's feasible and what's not. And yeah, there may be some, to what Sheila said, there may be some particular aspects of this design where we discover, once we get to that point, we discover that we just can't do it, or we're going to have to alter it, because, as Sheila says, once you intervene to start making changes, you have to bring it up to the standards, that are. So I think that'll definitely be part of the challenge of this. Hopefully it won't prevent us from implementing any of this, but it definitely could force some tweaks or changes to it, I think. Yeah.
But as Mike said, let's progress to getting some engineering, to spend some engineering money, and if we can get funding for it, and see what the impact is, and then meet again with all the businesses in the area and see if we can progress. If there's,
but we'll
I think that's our hope.
But we'll also be mindful of flexibility where possible.
Yes, correct.
And I appreciate Sheila's comment about needing to comply, although I do think there's likely some opportunity for waivers or.
Right.
In other words, yes, in a perfect world, we'll be able to bring everything up to 100%. But I wouldn't let that rain on our parade.
No, that's right.
Because I hear the agony in your voice, Fernando, and we all want to see something happen, because we've all seen the many studies that have gone on a shelf to die. And we all collectively want something to happen, business included.
Correct.
And this is a great opportunity to do it, and I just don't want to lose the wind that's at our back, thinking that some engineering study in the future is going to say, well, we can't have any parking, and it's all going to be brought up to perfect grade. So I think there's going to be some room.
Let's go. Let's progress. Let's keep on going.
I think we've only got one more slide to go, actually. And actually, what Fernando was just saying about funding, that's kind of a good segue. So this is not a complete list, and my knowledge of this stuff is it's not thorough, but just some, and I got some help from Sheila and some other people, but these are just a few examples of some possible funding sources to do this. Again, the cost is probably in the ballpark of like $200,000 or $250,000. So by road improvement standards, it's a pretty small amount of money. But I'm sure we'd much prefer that money come from a grant from the state government or the federal government rather than from the town itself. And so these are, I know it's cut off a little bit, but these are some possibilities. Most of them are from the state. one or two from the feds. And, I think especially some of the ones with for the Downtown Initiative Program, some of the Safe Streets and Shared Streets things, Complete Streets are good possibilities. At some point, we'll have to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of, or at least hopefully we can get at the nitty-gritty of actually applying for some of these grants, and then I can learn more about what's really feasible and what's not. But these all look like at least possibilities at the moment.
Right. So Matthew, what does the Halls Corner Working Group request from the Select Board?
Well, I should probably ask Kathy and Lester to maybe speak to that a little bit, but I'd say my impression is, and also Emily can speak to that, but my impression is more or less to kind of give us a kind of a sense of how the Select Board feels about it, whether we should continue to go forward. It sounds like you're pretty favorable towards it.
Let's make a formal
at this
request
point,
so we can formally reply. How about that?
A consensus of whether seek funding
Yeah.
and proceed.
So do you guys want to add anything to that, or?
Engineering.
Kathy, are you the chair of the Halls Working Group, or who's?
Yes.
Well, great. Let's have the official statement from the chair. How about that?
Kathy is a glutton for punishment.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm a frequent pedestrian in Halls Corner,
Yeah.
3 or 4 times a week. So I'm loving where these crosswalks are going to be. It's not going to prevent people from running across Chestnut Street.
Right.
From, the corner store over to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
I think the crosswalks. But anyway, sorry, I won't belabor the point. And in addition to business involvement, we have engaged with the Chamber of Commerce.
Good.
So they've agreed to host a listening session.
Nice.
And to meet with their advisory board, so.
Oh, great.
That's another way we can engage with the.
Fantastic. Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So I think regardless of what we do here, we need to have the area surveyed.
Right.
So I think we need to go forward with an engineering study.
So-
So I think that's the ask.
I think the general consensus of the board is, please keep on the good work, and let's get to a successful outcome. Let's keep on working on this and doing our best to get there, to get this done. So we can, after 30 years, we can plant the flag on Halls Corner, right?
And I have to give Wayne Dennison a lot of the credit, because he changed the focus of
Right.
the work group to have it just be crosswalks and
Okay.
pedestrian and safety.
All
So
right.
kudos to him.
Well, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Put that
Wayne.
we put that $90,000 to good work here.
Yeah.
And got a study that was
Right. Yep,
for
fantastic.
Duxbury.
So, yeah, please, on behalf of the board, please do continue your good work, and look forward to the next update.
Great. I guess maybe a corollary question to that, and I don't know if you can answer this at the moment, but to do this engineering, possibly survey, but definitely the engineering study, is there funding within the town to do that, or should we be applying for grants? It sounds like from what Sheila said, it might be in the ballpark of $20,000, maybe. I mean, I guess grants would be preferable, I suppose.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, go granting.
Okay.
And then if you don't succeed, then let's come back and we'll have another conversation.
Fernando, I think you've just coined a phrase.
Go granting.
I don't know grants but I can tell you that if I was on that community planning group, that One Stop for Growth, I'd be happy to hear that the select board was happy with the report they gave,
Yep.
and that the money we used,
Yeah.
and would like to take it to the next step, an engineering study. Maybe they'd be a good first start.
Yeah, that's a great point, yeah.
Because that's how a lot of those, if we need to speak with our legislative delegation, maybe we can
Have a
help,
chat with.
just make sure that we're using these grants in the right way.
Yeah.
Here we are, we're doing it, we're implementing it.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not just using the 90,000 for a study that's gonna sit on a desk somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
that's a good point, yeah. Hopefully they
Excellent.
can see we're advancing step by step.
All right, well, thank you for
Yeah, thank you so
Matthew
much.
and the rest of the Halls Corner Working Group. Thank you for progressing this and getting us to a good place.
It's great work.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting us come before you tonight, and hopefully you'll be hearing from us again in the future.
Looking forward to it.
excellent work, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One quick update for you, and that's on East Street. The intermediate pavement course has been paved on both sides of the approaches. The subcontractor, DeLuca Fence, has been on site working on the guardrails, the bridge rails, and the chain link fence. Rod Jackson, who provided me with this information, let me know also that Eversource was on site last week, and I had a conversation with Paul Brogna, who had actually gone out to the site this afternoon. And as of today, they have installed the 588,000 feet of wire that they needed to have in the ground, and they're just about done with that part. On early Friday morning, there will be a very short power outage, literally a matter of seconds. And then once that's concluded, then they can reactivate and recharge the line. Then after that, Verizon will come in and do their work, which will be followed by Mass DOT paving the road and then pulling up stakes and leaving.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, question on that, because we were told on site that power would not be shut off even for a moment during the cutover. How will Eversource be notifying affected customers in advance?
From what I understand, they've already provided notification, or they're in the process of doing so now.
Do we know how that's going to be done?
I don't.
Okay. Because lots of folks certainly work from home. You don't want to be in the middle of a Zoom call and then
early
be shut
Friday
off.
morning. It'll be minimal interruption, so it's like, I'm guessing like late at night, like between midnight and before 6 a.m.
All right. Can we please confirm that there will be advance notice to affected residents? Because that's a change from what we heard before, and that's a pretty important issue. And are they also looking at reopening no later than June 1st? That was also part of the representations when we had the on-site.
Yeah, I've heard nothing with regard to changing that date, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that's still the target date.
All right. And just one further thing, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like
Yes.
to recognize Paul Brogna for his tremendous work in overseeing the details of this project on behalf of the town. He's an unpaid volunteer, and he's been, I shouldn't use the word riding, but he's been
Encouraging.
very vociferously encouraging the contractor and subcontractors to stay on time and on target. And I think he's an unsung hero in this whole thing, and I'd like to just acknowledge all his work.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Brogner.
Second that.
All right. Anything else from the town manager's report?
That was it. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is committee appointments, reappointments, resignations. I believe there's a number there for the 4th of July committee.
Yep. I move that the Select Board appoint or reappoint the following individuals to the 4th of July committee, all with terms set to expire on April 30th, 2027, is noted below. The following people are reappointments: Jamie McNabb, Stu Ruggles, Barbara Cleary, Jeff Goldman, Chris Berry, Hutton, Colin, Pam C. Smith, Nancy Rufo, Danielle Bryan, Nancy Reed, and Alden Kaiser, and an appointment of Bo Boynton.
All right. Can I have a second?
Second. Cheerful second on that one. Great group.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you to the team. Look forward to July 4th.
Yes. And we got funding this time.
Yeah.
There's no discussion about that anymore. Right, event permits. I believe we have one event permit, the Best Buddies 27th Annual Bike Ride.
Right. I move that Mr. James Jaffe, as representative of the Best Buddies 27th Annual Bike Ride, be granted permission to utilize the center located at 10 Mayflower Street, Duxbury, as a rest stop area as described in the application on May 30th, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., contingent upon the conditions of the permit.
Any questions or discussions from the board?
Just an observation. I believe this is an annual event, not a
Yes.
new event. There had been some concern over the last few years about the number of races, both
Right.
wheeled and on foot,
Yep.
that go in or through town. And I just want to point out that this is one that's already existing, and this is just a renewal.
Yep. And this is for a non-profit. This is for raising
Yes, yeah.
raising money, right? And some of these events are for profit, right? That we've struggled with.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you have a motion and a second.
Can I have a, did I hear the second?
That was me.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. All right, we have a number of one-day liquor, wine and malt licenses. So first one is a one-day liquor license for the Speak for Thyself award ceremony at the Aldrin Kindred of America.
Yeah, hold on. I move that Ms. Desiree Mobed, as a representative of the Alden Kindred of America, be granted a one-day liquor license for their Speak for Thyself award ceremony on May 20, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Alden House Historic Site, located at 105 Alden Street, Duxbury, contingent upon the conditions of the license.
Any discussion with regards to this one-day liquor license?
I see that Alden House is on the screen. I wonder if they want to address this?
Right.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes.
Desiree.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, great. So we will be hosting the Speak for Thyself event at the Alden House this year under a tent and this liquor permit. The event includes award presentations, tours of the house, hors d'oeuvres, and, of course, wine and beer. So it's an event that honors women in the community and in the wider South Shore area for just incredible leadership and civic mindedness. So this is the 19th event, actually. It's very special awards presentation.
All right. Any questions for Desiree Mobed?
Only whether she has to call it beer or ale.
Beer with an E at the end. I believe,
there you
as
go.
the
All right.
pilgrims might
Excellent.
recognize it.
Okay, excellent.
Happy
Any-
to second the motion.
Yes, second the motion, good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Good luck, Desiree.
Thank
Yes,
you.
good luck.
Thank you.
We have another one-day liquor license for the Bay Players Presents Conscience theatrical performance.
Yes. I move that Mr. James Kuntz, as representative of the Bay Players, be granted a one-day liquor license for their theatrical performance of Conscience on May 15, 16, 17, and May 22, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., and May 23rd, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Located at First Pierce Hall, 842 Tremont Street, Duxbury, contingent upon the conditions of the license.
Right.
Second.
Yep, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passing
Aye.
unanimously. And last, one-day wine and malt license for the artist reception at the Hellas Bumpus Gallery.
Coming. Just a moment, please.
Sure.
Where are we? Oh, it's not that one.
There's a lot.
I guess it's-
We'll get there.
I will get there eventually.
Yeah.
Still on Bay Players, okay. Oh, okay. So this is for the Helen Bumpus Gallery?
Yes, yep.
All right, so I move that Mr. David Murphy, as a representative of the Helen Bumpus Gallery, be granted a one-day wine and malt license for an artist reception at the Helen Bumpus Gallery on May 8, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., located at the Helen Bumpus Gallery at the Duxbury Free Library, 77 Alden Street, Duxbury, contingent upon the conditions of the license.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. The last, let me see here, minutes. We have minutes for executive session March 6th and March 12th, and open session minutes March 2nd, 9th, and April 13th.
I have some comments. Oh, is that what those are, Fernando?
The proposed revision to the minutes from, you've been busy, Brian.
Well, I read them.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for, on
it's funny
behalf
because-
of your select board members, thank you.
No, it was funny because on one set that was done by Claude, we mentioned how well Claude was doing.
Right.
And that's the one that required the most tweaks this time around. So,
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not too bad. May I have the floor for just a moment? I'll
Yes,
just go through this
please.
real quickly. So One is executive session, but it doesn't have to go to the substance of the matter. It just had to do with missing an adjournment time.
Okay.
And I just wanted to put that in. So we'll amend those minutes to point out that we ended at 9:31 a.m. Then the other comments were for open session. First is for March 9th. There was a comment by Amy, but it was attributed to me, and I'm just correcting it.
Okay.
Had to do with when Susan came down to discuss the ballot printing issue.
Right.
Amy had made a comment at the end, but it had my name next to it. And I want to
Okay.
make sure that's attributed to the right person.
Thank you.
And then Monday, the 13th, this was the set that was in Word. The others were in PDF. And this is the one that Claude did okay with.
Butchered.
Did okay. The pages weren't numbered, so it was a little tough to follow, so we
Right.
need to number the pages, no big deal. On page 1, there's a heading that made reference to executive session, and it stated that we returned to open session at 7 PM, which is not correct.
Okay.
And it was unnecessary because later on in the motion, it says what time we were going to return.
Right.
So it's duplicative, but it was wrong.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I recommend we remove that. Likewise, under the motion, we omitted the chair's declaration about the necessity of holding the executive session. Usually the paragraph the chair reads.
Yes.
That was missing from the minutes, so I'd like to put that in there. On page 2, we had an update on the East Street overpass, which we just discussed. At that on-site, it said the chair and Amy were there. Amy is the chair.
Right.
I was there as well, so we'll just correct that. Page 7, there's a typo in Sheila's last name, so we'll fix that. Number 6, this had to do with, let me see here. Oh, this was for the bridge testing?
Bridge work, yeah.
Yeah, and we confirmed at the end
Yep.
that the testing won't interfere with vehicle access.
Yep.
And it won't trigger any additional testing.
Yep.
I thought that was
Correct.
important for us to confirm,
Yep.
but it was missing from the minutes. So that needs to go in. And then just administratively, on page 8, there was a reference to a vote. It said approved 5-0. Excuse me, it said approved, no opposition, instead of the actual vote of 5-0.
Correct.
All the other votes said it was 5-0 or whatever the number was.
Yep.
So I'd like them all to be consistent. Same thing with another vote regarding the approval of the minutes. And, here's my note about, we had a note in there about how well Claude was doing. I think we can just omit that, it was unnecessary. Under the announcements, yes, so it seems like Claude was confusing Amy and me
Okay.
during the meeting.
Yep.
And this is not a big deal, but at the end, there was an announcement about a Mass DOT meeting for Route 3. And I recall I said that, but it said Amy. So maybe Claude thinks we sound the same, I don't know. And then finally, at the end of the minutes, lately, we've been including a web link to the video that Zach in the control booth is so good to put together for us. It was missing from this set of minutes. I find those to be very useful.
Yep.
To just click on if I want to refresh my memory about something, so I'd like the web link to go on. Anyway, those are my edits, all for Monday, the 13th, open session. Everything else looked good.
For April
Everybody-
13th. Sorry. March 2nd, March 9th?
That
April
was April
13th.
April
yeah.
And we're okay with Brian's amendments?
Yes.
Yes,
All right, then. Are we ready to,
I think so. We can do a mass motion, can't we?
I'll do them
no.
individually just in case.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I move to, that Select Board approves the March 2nd, 2026, and March 9th, 2026, open session minutes as presented.
One quick question. Were you all here?
No, wait a minute, hold on, that's not even right. March 9th, as amended.
As amended, yeah.
It said everybody can vote.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
And then for the March 6th and March 12th, open session minutes. And Mike needs to abstain from this.
Wait,
Did we,
I thought they said it says executive session
Yeah,
March
it's an
6th.
but this is
Executive.
the open session.
But there's, on March,
March 6th, it was an executive session.
yeah, it says, but, yeah,
March 6th, I think we only met in executive session.
really?
that's right, yeah.
That was a Friday morning.
Yep, Friday
Okay.
morning,
I will
So-
abstain.
So, and you weren't there.
correct.
The March 12th
Yeah.
is an open session.
No, it says here executive session.
I'm sorry.
I think I sent them to you. If you
Yeah,
check.
yeah, but,
I'm just trying to go for the motions here.
oh, you have the motions and it doesn't line up with
Right.
the agenda
Yeah.
then.
The motion is to approve the open session at the 6th and the 12th. So,
Oh, right.
So the motion, we've approved the open session already of the 2nd and the 9th.
Correct.
All right, so then this is an executive session.
Yep.
Okay. And so I can move to approve the March 6th and March 12th Select Board executive minutes
As amended.
as
Sorry.
Yeah, only the 6th was amended.
Yeah.
And that was just to state the
As
adjournment
amended,
time.
right.
Okay.
And Mike still needs to abstain.
Mhm.
Were you here for either one of them?
The morning ones
Yeah.
No, you weren't for the morning 6th one, the March 6th.
definitely wasn't March 6th. So when's the,
The 12th?
March 12th was that was at 4:30 in the afternoon.
I was not there for that one either.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes
Abstain.
three yes and one abstention.
Okay, and so then we do also have the April
13th.
13th.
With copious provisions.
As amended, yeah.
Well, I'll just move to approve, the Select Board approve the Monday, April 13th minutes as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Okay.
All right, there is no bonus shellfish season.
That's too bad.
There are no
You
announcements.
did it last week.
Did it last week, right.
Bonus
Okay.
shellfish.
All right.
Any
Okay.
announcements? Were there announcements?
There's no
that I missed?
announcements.
I didn't have any.
And so the last motion, and the most
I
important
move-
motion of the evening, the adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Do we not announce when our next meeting is?
Our next meeting is
There's no announcements, but
Yeah.
when's our next meeting?
Monday, May,
18th,
sorry,
Yes,
what?
May 18th.
yes.
There is an announcement.
There we
The
go.
announcement is as follows. Our next
Meeting
meeting,
is Monday, May 18th at 6:30 PM in the Mural
Excellent.
Room.
all right.
Cool.
And I move to adjourn.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, pass unanimously. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.